Greetings and welcome back to unMadeGaming. We are here for a one-shot of one of my favorite systems, Numenera. We are here with Material Components, we are here with Katie, we are here with Mad Fishmonger herself, and we are here with some form of that internet guy, John. So let's jump right into things here, guys. A quick reminder, this is a charity stream, so all donations go towards Extra Life Charity for Kids. We are a little bit over a third of the way to our goal. We are also sponsored by Mage Hand Press, and everyone that donates even $1 is going to get 3 supplements from them. They make some awesome content for D&D and a few other systems. And everyone who donates $5 or more is going to get a coupon code to their brand new system, which I just forgot the name of, but it's D&D in space. And my brain turned off right as I was saying that. We're also sponsored by Easy Roller Dice, and we're doing a massive dice giveaway when we hit certain goals for our entire charity team, so definitely check that out. And if you guys want to support the channel, please go check out our Patreon. That being said, check that comment section or the donation section down below for what you guys can donate for to interact with this show, and I will turn things over to Keith. Keith, take us into the ninth world.
Hello. The ninth world is Earth, 1 billion years in the future. So 9 different civilizations have risen to a great height of technology, far beyond our understanding. At one point, Earth was an intergalactic hub of travel, and at one point, it was an interdimensional travel hub. And yeah, at this point, all of that has fallen into complete ruin, and we have returned to kind of a medieval state of affairs. Except there are remnants of these ancient pieces of technology that the humans, that the people who inhabit this world try and make use of and try and make their lives better. But in general, we're looking at a quasi-medieval setting. Many characters are going to be walking around with pieces of metal that they're using as weapons or whatnot, but we also have these crazy gadgets going on that are ciphers, that are pieces of the Numenera, of the weird technology of previous eras. So I will describe super quick the particular setting that we're in, and then I'll hand it over to players to describe their characters. Does that sound good? Yes. So you are all a group of explorers and scavengers in the city of Deland, which is, it is known for its great salvaging and Numenera, because there is the changing moon that floats above it, which is a miles large prior world structure that is floating above the city, so large to the point that the sun is only visible for a few hours at dawn and a few hours at dusk, and the rest of its arc is blotted out by this huge moon that's floating just a few hundred feet over the city. So it's a great location in the ninth world to delve into this crazy prior world ruin in order to salvage and find Numenera, right? So let's introduce all of our characters real quick. Who wants to I don't know what order you guys are on the layouts.
Nah, that's fine. I'll jump in there. So I am playing Yamal, who is a curious curious right who explores yesterday, which is pretty exciting. I've never played that before, so that's my first intro to this. So apparently he loves building things. He is a scavenger, a salvager, and he can pretty much make something out of nothing at any given moment. He is well-versed in Numenera and well-versed in tech, and he is pretty much constantly tinkering with something or that he should be or something that he shouldn't be. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day delving into something.
Well, speaking of delving, I am a delver. I'm Namara, a strong-willed delve who shreds the walls of the world. These are all new to me, so it's gonna be fun. She is, she's a kind of a small person, but really, really, really wiry. Really muscled, and she's just always wearing sort of a nobody, like most people don't entirely know what she looks like because she is always sort of completely covered, goggles and everything, because she has a tendency to get into the really, really filthy places. She's just more than willing to go to the really scary parts. So she has a sort of full body leather, crawling around in the muck kind of outfit. And few people actually see her face. Eventually, she will. But of course, she's always sort of filthy. And she knows Lobin.
Speaking of Lobin, that's me. Lobin is a clever nano who focuses mind over matter. So speaking of making things from other things, Lobin can make nothing or everything from nothing, as long as you don't tell her that she has to prove it. She tends to like to keep her clothes a little bit cleaner. This is probably why she didn't encounter Namara much when they were in the same settlement village together. But we're together now. She's got like pretty nice long curly hair. She just kind of keeps loose with a headband across her forehead. The basic arbor required to go adventuring. She doesn't know how she managed to talk her way into this motley group of adventurers, but here we all are.
And speaking of the rest of us, I guess that would be Naveed. Naveed is a heroic glaive who thunders. His voice is very loud and boomy, and it can fill up a room. It can fill up a short range around him. It can shout across great distances and scare people away. Part of what Naveed is here for is to help keep people safe, and the reason why is because him and Yamal know each other from their past. For whatever reason, though, no matter how loud I'm yelling or shouting or whatever else is going on, I can always hear Yamal speaking to me. Which is weird, but also I carry plenty of weapons, so it makes me feel safe.
Excellent. So our story begins with a problem. You guys are all somewhere in Delland at the moment. I'll let you guys go around and maybe give the figure of that in a second. But Yamal has been investigating the umbrella that Yamal has invented. It is a installation which in Destiny and Numenera Destiny, it is a thing that Wright can build that is a piece of Numenera that's building sized, right? It's part of the community, and it provides some kind of effect for the community. So the problem with the changing moon has been the red rain. On kind of infrequent occasions, this strange red rain pours down from the moon, and any material that it touches, organic or otherwise, the rain breaks apart and takes that matter and rebuilds these very strange 9-foot tall slabs of stone. So this has been a problem for a time, and so Yamal went about creating what has been called the umbrella, which is a Numenera that is protecting the city from this effect. However, in the last couple weeks, it has not stopped raining. And so there are spots in the umbrella that are flickering and failing, and Yamal has assessed that it's going to need repairing, it's going to need strengthening, and it's going to need a particular resource called oraculum, which is an iotum that you guys suspect could be found on the changing moon. So yeah, in order to get to the changing moon, there is a ladder, right, that someone has built in years past named Melendweir. And it is a ladder that goes you know, 2/3 of the way to the changing moon, and then a kind of grappling hook or whatnot is thrown from the top of the ladder in order to connect. Is the situation getting to it? And the reason why this is not a permanent structure is because the moon changes. There's a phase that will sweep across the face of the moon in a giant ripple, and everything behind it changes altogether. Structures that are on the moon, landscapes, everything behind this phase ripple is totally changed. So the ladder can't be a permanent structure because it completely destroys it, right? So it has been predicted that very shortly a phase will happen, and then people will be able to journey up to the changing moon. So what are you guys doing around town when Yamal discovers this situation? How about that?
So he just discovered that the moon was about to change phase, and we may have an opportunity to go up there. Okay.
Yeah, well, he just discovered that he's going to need this particular resource in order to fix the umbrella.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But there is a crier that goes around on Moon Street, one of the main streets, shouting kind of how close to a phase has been predicted. They don't really understand how it works, but some kind of observer figure in the city estimates it, and then a crier goes out and shouts it. So you know that it's coming.
Okay. I would probably just be, I'm not sure if the background says I used to work as a guard or if I may still kind of do, but I would think that I would probably after breakfast at some point just be making rounds around the town, saying hello to people and just sort of wandering around and maybe looking up at the sky to see if any red rain is trying to fall on my head while I do it.
Yeah, what are other people doing? What this is kind of just to give a sense of your character as well, and what their connection is to the city.
I would be probably coming out of like you know, some kind of like pawn shop or junk shop or something like that. Having, you know, pawned off a bunch of stuff, and I'm you know, coming back out in the street, adjusting backpack and kind of wandering around. Just, I've done what I needed to do, and now I'm sort of, I'm not really used to this whole city thing, but I'm trying to play cool. I'm trying to act like I totally know where I am. I am not lost, and it's all.
If my character notices you, he thinks you look a slight little bit suspicious, maybe just because you seem out of place, but he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, Lobin is definitely in the marketplace area, haggling for a necklace, and is succeeding in getting it far below what asking price would definitely be. Unlike Namara, Lobin is definitely very at home in the city, just conning their way to the top.
Yeah, if I'll kind of, you know, accidentally end up in the market, you know, act like I totally planned to be there, and just kind of sidle up to Lobin because now I found someone I know.
Yep. So, how much did you get for that stuff you pawned off?
I just kind of pull like a handful of shins out of my pocket.
She like sorts through the petty change. Like, did you even haggle for this? This is cents on the currency that we are using. You could have gotten 10 times this. Next time you need to take me with you.
Do they call them shins?
Shins?
Shins on the shin.
Cents on the shins?
Yes, and shins are a collection of all kinds of different random bits, like little pieces of glass and little pieces of Numenera, all of an inert, but there's no standardized currency whatsoever. Everybody kind of just shuffles through it and looks at it and decides what they want, what it's worth. So
little pretty shiny things.
Okay, this one's shiny. This one's a nice bauble you got here. This is a rock. Did you notice that this was? Did you go into a dark pawn shop again? You need to
I
go
kind
to
of-
the right so that you can look at them.
I've got goggles on my eyes, and I like kind of pull them off. And
It's
then,
a pretty shiny rock, though, at least.
yeah.
Yeah, she
You just see
blows.
like the dirt all the way around the eyes, and she has like big dark eyes.
Yeah, Lobin like blows a little bit on your goggles, and like a cloud of dust flies off of them. Like, okay.
Big pen. There's just
That's awesome.
All right, so you guys are all kind of within a distance of one another, seeing distance, when something happens. The umbrella, which I'm kind of seeing as just like a weird force field mesh above you guys, that you're seeing this red rain fall upon and then roll off, similar to like a car going through a car wash or something, right? And you're seeing this red mesh start to flicker in the marketplace, and there's a bit of commotion from the people haggling and whatnot as they're looking up with concern. It's starting to flicker, and you're hearing kind of the groaning of the umbrella. There's multiple of these different installations that are projecting this, and you're hearing them groaning and struggling to kind of keep this thing up.
What did Yamal mess up this time? Guess we better go see him or whatever.
Yeah, I just shove everything back in my pockets, and I just grab your arm.
How far are we from the source of the umbrella? Like where Yamal would be if he was trying to fix it right now?
Like a block or so, yeah, pretty
Okay.
close.
I would probably, without saying much of anything, head straight there.
What do you look like, Yamal, when they arrive?
Yamal is frenzied. He has these massive like gauntlets on his arms, and he is holding up this like large, looks like poster size piece of paper, and he's just like swirling his finger on things, and you can see it like turn white where his finger touched it, and he's writing something, or at least you presume he's writing something, and then he like sticks the paper to somewhere else, and he's like turning knobs and like removing pieces of stone and like replacing it in other places, and you see like the light flicker a little bit more, then he removes the stone again, puts it in a new place, and you see it flicker a different kind of thing, and it looks to the layman like he's just winging it. And it looks to the educated person like he's just winging it. And then he like tears the poster back down, scratches something out, scribbles something in, sticks it back to the wall, and begins frantically moving other pieces of like masonry around. You see him like pick up a chunk of like some kind of beeping and whirring Numenera device, and he puts it in where he puts when he takes one of the stones out. No.
As you look up, you see the point where this kind of cracking is happening in the umbrella, and then a tiny pin-sized hole where this red rain starts to fall through. And in the marketplace below, people have already scattered because they've been watching this and seeing this, but there's a single cart, right, that was left behind that was full of fruit, and you see the rain land onto this cart, and then it seems almost not to be rain for a moment, but insects as it scuttles all over the cart. And you see kind of almost like in a pixelated fashion, the cart just totally disappear as the insects run all over this thing. And then a moment later, a slab of stone, 9 foot tall, is built in its place.
No. I need, damn it. And you see him again. He's just frantically moving around. What are you doing here? Grab that. And he like shouts over to Naveed, "Put it there, you tiny one. You grab that.
Can I
put
see
that
what
there."
he's pointing at? I'm very confused. I grab the first thing I see that seems like it could be in any way related to what he's doing, and like hand it to him.
No, put it up there.
Okay.
Great.
If I can see where he says, I put it there as best I can.
And he's just frantically giving tasks to people that seem like mundane tasks because they probably are, as he's frantically trying to close the gap in this umbrella. This isn't going to hold.
I'm helping you wing it.
Yeah, perfect. I'll reduce my check by 1. This isn't going to hold. This isn't going to hold. No. Oh, this isn't going to work. Who are you? What are you doing here? I know you. And he points to Naveed. The rest
I
of
think you guys have a cursory knowledge of each other. You've probably worked together.
Yeah,
before,
I think in our
for ease
background there's
things,
something about it.
Yeah.
We're at least familiar with one another. I came to see if there's any help I can do, but it seems like I don't know if I'm actually helping here.
Neither do I.
What's wrong with the umbrella?
I need a stone. I need items. I need so many, like all of them. I need to go to the moon.
Did I just hear someone say the moon? And Loba and Namara walk in.
There's only 2 people in here.
I'm like hiding behind Logan, but I'm like tugging excitedly when I hear.
Yeah, how tall is Yamal?
He's probably like 6 foot, but he's
Okay,
got like these
so-
massive like Numeneran gauntlets on that seem to have like cables that are attached to something in this room.
So the 5'6" Loban is just right underneath you. It's like, we're down here. Down here.
Oh. He like crouches
I'm
a
like
little bit.
5'0".
Yeah.
I'm even taller than Yamal, so I look down and I still almost don't even see you. I'm like, oh, whoa.
Oh.
Hey there. It's you.
Hello. Are you coming to the moon?
Yeah, I've been to the moon before. It's
No,
a great
no.
place at this time of the year, you know, in comparison to Stone Rain.
No, I said, are you coming to the moon?
Yeah, I can go to the moon.
Okay.
Nodding frantically.
I heard from some crying guy that the phases are going to shift soon.
Why was he crying?
I don't know, something about the phases shifting soon. Must be his time of the moon cycle.
Gross. Disgusting moon cycles. Yeah, that's perfect. I need to go to the moon because I need more ore. I need. I could bring a backpack. I could bring Naveed. He's like a giant backpack. He just picks things up, puts them down. I could bring. You have 4 arms, at least between the 2 of you. That could be great to carry more things. That'll work. I'll take all of you. We're going to the moon. All of us together at the same time.
Oh, gee, Rick.
Who has 4 thumbs, 4 arms, and want to go to the moon? Like,
Is Naveed now giant Morty?
I can't do that voice the whole time.
Perfect. That would be
It's
great.
so funny. Good.
oh, jeez. I hope we can get to the moon all right.
Oh, jeez, Naveed. Let's do it. Oh, perfect.
Well, as you guys are speaking, you hear the commotion of the city, and glancing up, you see this visible wave moving across the surface of the moon, and all the structures in front of it are completely reorganized and put in different places or lost altogether. Entire valleys and buildings and towers and whatnot disappear behind this line and are just in a different place altogether. And as it ripples over, you see the grappling hook kind of device that has been hucked from the top of Melandir's ladder just get totally, utterly knocked off, and it flies to the ground. And so the phase the shift has happened.
Well,
I'm
the
muted.
cartographers are going to have a field day.
Speaking of which, are there shifts of the moon in patterns, or is it completely random every single time?
It is patterns, and it is predicted how soon it will be happening, though oftentimes it takes the observer kind of figure to study the new placement of everything to predict how long it will take.
Okay. But are there cartographers that like kind of know? Oh, we're on phase 7, so it's kind of this shape, right? Or this is things located here or here.
No, because it's completely different every
Perfect.
time
Cool.
the phase shifts
Awesome.
happen. Yeah.
Random moon changes. Dope. So would I have any inkling on where to find the oraculum?
So people go up to this place all the time and never really know where they're at or where they're going, but they often come back with great riches that have been salvaged from Numenera up there, right? It is some kind of prior world ruin, so there's always goods to be found, yeah.
So I'm hearing wing it. Perfect. I like it. Do we know what the protocol, or at least does Yamal know what the protocol is for getting to the moon? Can anyone just casually climb a giant ladder to the moon?
Yes, there's no cost to climb the giant ladder, but the keeper of the ladder, Melandir, and his, I think it's a him, it might be a her, I don't recall. We'll double check, but they take 30% of whatever you bring back with you. So it is a bit of a kind of tyrannical operation, and you also know that they've shot down flying vessels that have attempted to approach the moon through anything that tries to circumnavigate the ladder.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Shady dude. Yeah, I guess if the moon shifted and it's safe and people are currently being rained upon, I think now would be a great time to go to the moon, guys. At a minimum, there's no rain right there, so, you know.
Yeah, we'll be safe.
Yeah. We won't be eaten and turned to stone.
Well, last time I was on the moon, it rained, but, you know, it was a special day.
Did it rain upside down, or...
You'll see.
What? Doesn't make any sense. All right.
Let's
see your science figure that out.
All right, so you head to the ladder, which is you can kind of see it in this image, right on the left side of the image.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, that's up, right? Yeah. So,
Okay.
So you guys arrive there, and you see Melandir, the person who's kind of the leader of this city now, though they took control of it somewhat recently through kind of a coup. And I need to double check what gender this person is. Boss Melandir. It's a she, and it's and known as a nano among the village, right? Though pretty muscular, and has a kind of a strange mechanical eye that is repeatedly focusing and unfocusing on you guys as you approach, and she looks pretty enraged as you're coming near. Yamal,
Yes?
what is wrong with this ladder or this umbrella of yours?
It's not working.
Well, I see that.
Well, problem solved. Or not solved, but identified at least.
What are you doing to fix it?
I'm going
to the moon.
Thank you.
Well, we haven't connected to the moon yet, but you're welcome to do it. I'd gladly cut down the cost of your return to 20% if you were to.
I mean, all of what I'm going up there to find is to fix the umbrella. So the more I have, the easier it is to fix.
Well, make sure to bring back 20% more than you need.
Oh.
And that's why
I'm
it's
like
broken
rubbing
all the
my
time.
hands together.
I say 110%.
That's why it's always broken. That's why. You probably have enough oraculum just stored in your house that I could fix it right now. But no. 30%, 20%, 10%, 45%. Changes every time. Anyway.
What if you gave us a deal next time too? 20% now, 20% if we make any trips in the future.
Do you want to? I guess we're playing a game, and we should maybe roll dice at some point, right? But
I guess if we have to.
I know. Sorry. But you can make a kind of a persuasion roll against this person, which is intellect based. So if you wanted to use effort,
and I would assume this is not a positive social interaction necessarily.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
negotiation. Yeah.
Okay, so I am trained in that, so I would take it down by one step.
Excellent. All right. So you're looking at this person's a pretty shrewd negotiator. So you're looking at a 5 difficulty right now, which is a 15 on the dice roll, right?
All right, I think I'm going to take my critical failure on this one. That's how this works, right?
That's how it works.
Okay, I'm getting it out of the way.
All right. GM intrusion, huh?
Okay.
Let's see. I think
It's probably a bad person to have it happen with too.
the leader of the village. Let's see.
I don't know why Loban's letting you do the negotiating, but you know what? I think she thinks it's funny, so...
I probably shouldn't be.
And watch this unfold.
you propose that, and Melandir glances back at who was. There were some people that were shuffling around, scavenging some of the bits that had fallen from the grappling hook that was pushed aside. And she snaps, and those figures eerily stand and look at you guys. They seemed like they were humans by their shape, but then when you see their visage, they are these kind of eerie things that Melandir commands as guards around the village, that you guys know to be grown in a vat of some kind that is fed organic material and produces these kind of brainless, spongy humanoid warriors that follow her commands exactly. So they fix their faceless stares at you, and she says, "Are you trying to negotiate with me right now?"
I just I shake my head and say, "No, I'm definitely not."
Well, good. And you see these
just a thought.
These strange spongy creatures go back to gathering their things.
I'm a fighter. I don't want to fight both of those guys, though.
Come on, I bet you could take them.
I feel like we're gonna get into trouble today.
I've seen him take much smaller creatures.
And I've seen him take much bigger.
Where did he take them?
The moon, where we should go. Come on.
God damn it, John.
I'm trying to hide behind Loban, but also like I'm super excited to get there at the same time, so I'm sort of torn between like being freaked out by these creatures and really, really wanting to go to the moon.
So, you said 20% is fine, and you're gonna fix the grappling hook.
No, it was 20% if you fixed the grappling hook.
Oh, right, not 20% if I save the city. Got it.
What,
No, I understand.
what kind of rolls would you need for fixing the grappling hook?
Yeah, so I think it would start with a climb to get to the top of the ladder, though it would be pretty. We'll just say that is not even a roll, right? You're just climbing a ladder.
Yeah.
But then I think a might or a speed kind of attack roll as you're at the top of this thing, you know,
All right, I'll do that.
hurling a grappling hook. And you can see in the image that there's these kind of weird holes in the moon with these kind of needles sticking out that can often be attached to them.
Okay. So while everybody's talking, I think I'll kind of, you know, I'm like looking back and forth, and then all of a sudden I just like scurry up the ladder, and I'm trying to get this. So my might and speed are both the same. So they're both 12.
All right. I think this is going to be a difficult task, which is a difficulty 4. So you're looking at a 12 on the dice, and you can use effort if you want to reduce that. Or if you're trained in anything that seems like it might be relevant to this task.
It's not sensing Dean. Well, tasks requiring focus or concentration.
I'll buy that.
Okay. That, yeah. So that would bring it down to which?
To a 3 difficulty, so a 9 on the dice. And if you were to expend effort, you could reduce it further as well. But
okay, so I'll roll difficulty 3.
excellent. Voila. So with Namara, with a really intense fixation, is taking in all the variables and all the situation and hurls the grappling hook, and it lands really high up on one of these spires and clatters for a few moments, and then Namara manages to do some wrangling with the rope and get it to tangle up on itself, and so you have this rope that's drifting up towards the moon, attached to the spire.
Okay, so what's the name of the leader character again?
Melandir.
Melandweir, you have a deal. We'll fix that right away, and we'll take that 20%. And we're done. We're going to the moon. And she goes up. She climbs a ladder too.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up the rope. I'm already going.
I look up over at Yamal and I sort of motion you first. And I'll watch your back.
Thanks. It's a great system. And he climbs a ladder as well.
Just
All
like
right.
on the first rung, she like waves back, "Toodles, Melandweir! It's the moon!"
This one's very excitable.
As you guys are kind of going you're going all at once, right? Like one behind the next. So you're
I'm pretty fast, so I want to like kind of scurry up the rope as fast as I can.
all right. As you're getting up, you manage without a roll necessarily to get up this rope to the spire, and then you can see up into this moon and through this crazy hole. And actually, as you're approaching the this needle, there's this strange moment when gravity totally flips you back upside down, right? So that the gravity of this moon has taken hold over the gravity of the planet below.
Okay.
It's producing this kind of strange gravity aura or whatnot, right? So there's a certain point where you find yourself holding onto this spire and being turned upside down, and then you're kind of shuffling down the spire towards the moon because it's Numenera and it's weird.
I was gonna say, just like right before gravity changes, Loban's climbing, just like, so legend has it that in those holes used to be great mines of cheese. To stop the cheese from just melting the entire moon and it imploding on itself, we inserted these rods, which actually turned out to be whoa!
They're actually frost inductors.
Frost conductors, cheese plugs.
Yeah, they keep the cheese cold.
So
Solid cheese.
you guys are in the in this tube, so to speak, right? The hole in the moon, and you're seeing around you glass tubes that are filled with the red rain, right? It's kind of swirling around in these glass tubes, and you're seeing one of them has a big crack in it, and so some of the rain is kind of leaking out in a fine mist. I think we'll do.
So do we believe the rain comes from the moon? Is that what we're assuming? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't happen anywhere else. It's just entirely comes from the surface of the moon or from these holes in the moon, right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Is the mist affecting anything? Is it like devouring things and rebuilding giant stones, or?
Right now, it's kind of just floating in the air below you guys, right? As it is kind of in between your route.
Oh, so we need to descend like through the mist
Mm-hmm.
to get to the bottom.
Yeah, it doesn't look like good mist.
Not a great mist.
I feel like Yamal has some kind of something on him, like
A
bit of
handkerchief.
I'm
I
like,
Yeah.
wrap it around my face.
I start digging, through my pockets, and I'm like, making this kind of hold on gesture.
what?
I had to skip this event where I have to try and navigate through this. It wouldn't be missed.
Wow.
I would like to use my ability.
Ooh.
Ooh, an ability.
Ooh. So, she kind of, tells everybody, does this sort of hang on gesture, moves everybody out of the way, backs up, gets a really good running start, and then just takes off toward the mist. And then I'm going to use, my, I don't know how to, where is it? Okay, it's a phase.
Phase sprint.
Yes, my phase sprint.
Excellent.
Nice.
There we go. So I become partially phased, and the things pass through me harmlessly. So
Mm.
obviously it's up to you if I'm affected by it,
Yeah.
but I think I'm going to be fine with this.
Yeah, it looks like you gain an asset to speed defense tasks, but I get the impression, yeah, your attacks, some attacks pass through you harmlessly, and I think this would be one of them. So yeah, you guys see Namara start scuttling down this thing very rapidly, like almost like a fire pole, and as she does so, a ripple across her form and seems almost ghost-like, vanishing from reality as she phases into some other plane of existence and slides past this mist without even disturbing it.
Well, I can't do that. Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I have several. Usually multiple at the same time. Gabe, how big is the crack in this glass containment unit?
It's about 2 hand spans, so it's not, and it's kind of spider webbed crack, so it's not like just pouring out. It's kind of seeping.
Okay, cool. So I'm also going to use an ability. I have an ability called what's it called? It's called something, that's for sure. Called Right Tool for the Job. If I have at least one unit of item, which I have several, it can fashion a temporary device which provides an asset for one physical non-combat task. Essentially, I'm going to make a Numenera device that blocks the whole of just rain spilling out of this thing.
Excellent. Does that require a roll? Let's see.
So I get an asset to make the device. So I assume the device requires a roll.
Okay. Yeah, give me an intellect roll, and because you're trained in crafting Numenera, you'd be trained in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's the difficulty?
And what exactly are you making?
Something like you ever see that infomercial with the tape that they use to patch the boat, and they put the boat, basically that, but I'm using it from a range. So something that like I can throw right through this like mist, like splat
It's
on
like
the
a
side of the containment jar.
self-wrapping adhesive
Yeah,
tape.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Some cellophane.
Perfect. I think this is probably just a 3. So
Okay.
demanding difficulty, you're looking at a 9 on the dice, but you're trained in it, so it'll be a 6 then.
And I also have an asset for the ability.
Right. Yeah. So you need a 3 or better on the dice.
Yeah.
then.
So he basically reaches in, like he's holding on. He like wraps one arm around the rope, the grappling hook, and he's like reaches into one of his many pockets and pulls out something. And you see him like unwrap something, and he pulls out like a big block of something that like it looks like this mushy substance. And he just like fudge, yeah. And he takes a big bite out of it, and you just see him.
Chewing is a necessary step in the process.
And he spits out this wad that looks like it's 4 times the size of the bite he took. Like there's no way that could have fit in a mouth. And he just sort of stretches it out and throws it down. And you see it like splat against this thing. And let's give you a roll of 1.
Nice.
I succeed.
Excellent. All right. So this stuff sticks and then slowly spreads out like putty, wraps around this pipe, and the mist has died. It creates this weird bubbling effect that the putty's holding on, but you see these small little bubbles emerging from it as the mist is trying to escape. But it seems like it has totally held it
I like
at
it.
bay.
See? Nothing a few ideas won't solve.
Works for me.
Excellent.
And then he proceeds down.
So you guys proceed down and arrive in a room full of non-functioning machinery of unknown origin. The moon, the sound of it is familiar to those who've been here. It has kind of just an intense, dull, whirring, droning sound to it, as if you're in a giant moon-sized server room or something, right?
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of machinery here, potentially to be salvaged from, though it definitely looks like someone has done so before, and even there are notes scrawled on some of the machines in chalk. in the language of the truth, which is what you guys speak, right?
What do the notes say?
It seems, well, give me an intellect roll.
Sure.
And
I would have been, since I got there first, I would have been looking around on that. So
Yeah, what's the difficulty for the intellect roll?
I think a 2, a standard. So you're looking at a 6 on the dice.
Okay, I'm specialized in perception, so it's a 0.
Okay. Yeah. You take a quick look at this and you realize these are the notes of a scavenger who was trying to figure out what all this stuff was and making notes of what machine, what materials an iotum that was able to be salvaged from, and then a bunch of like question mark hypotheses about what kind of purpose they might have served, or other places in the moon that they've seen similar stuff before. So they're leaving notes for people who come after them.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Is this still salvageable, or is everything like taken from this?
It is salvageable, but it'll be one step. Your task will be hindered because it's already been salvaged before, but you can still attempt it.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to salvage. I just had to use one of my items to get us down here, so I might as well try to find a new one. So what am I looking at here?
So if you're looking for a specific iotum, right? We're kind of looking for oraculum, right?
Yeah.
In order to fix this thing, but oraculum is a pretty high level iotum. It's an 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a specific one, you have to roll with the difficulty being the number that you're looking for.
Got it. Yeah, I think if this place has already been salvaged, or salvaged rather, somebody would have found oraculum here, right? Like if somebody was going to town here, they would have found that. So yeah, he's looking for anything to more or less replace whatever he just took a big bite out of.
Okay.
You know, in case some shit goes down in the future.
Excellent.
While he's doing that, I would like to use my motion detector cipher.
Ooh.
It's a level 6 spinal injection, so y'all will see Naveed grab something out of probably one of the inner pockets on his overcoat, and he sort of looks around to see if anyone's paying attention. It doesn't really matter, he's still going to do it, but he's like, anyone who sees this may be slightly disturbed by the fact that I'm putting an injecting device straight into my spine. After I activate this for 6 hours, it indicates when any movement occurs within short range or when large creatures or objects move within a long range, and I can tell the difference. I know the number and size of the creatures or objects in motion. Lasts for 6 hours.
Excellent.
Okay. So I'm sure Lobin notices you do that and just starts like moving back and forth and goes, "Hey, can you see this? How many fingers am I moving behind my back? How many fingers now? How many can you see?"
I can learn to tune it out too.
Naveed injects this thing into his spine, and you see a strange ripple go over his eyes, and it seems like they're all black, right? Looking into his eyes, but it's not clear what he's seeing. But you know that it's intense. it's
weird.
It's enhanced. Yeah. All right. So Yamal, give me a salvaging roll.
What is the difficulty?
I think. Give me 1 second, because this stuff is a little bit new to me. This
Sure.
thing. We'll just say 3.
Okay, and I'm trained in salvaging, so it'll be a 2.
Excellent.
And I succeed.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, and then roll on a. Can you give me a percentile roll?
Sure. D100?
D100, yeah.
30.
Excellent. You find
great.
you find some apt clay.
Okay.
If you give me a D6 roll, that'll be how many units of it that you find.
3.
3. You find 3 units of apt clay. It's a brittle clay that's blue-gray with a metallic luster. When used as an additional component in a crafting task, it will ease the task.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, so I had like 4 iotums of like generic. It didn't tell me. Actually, it might have told me. Is IO one of them?
Yeah, IO is the like equivalent of like copper, right? It's like it's not quite an iotum, but it is still required.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I have. So it lists a bunch of crafting material, but not if they're iotums or not. So, okay, dope. So now I have this. There's nothing here. This place has been scavenged.
You say as you pull a stretchy.
Yeah, as I just like yank it out and I like start spooling it like taffy. There's nothing even, and then he's like braids it, and you see
all your tools are like mucky, goopy, messy things.
There's nothing even here. This place has been. That's what the writing is. Someone's been through here. No oraculum to be found. Loban, you've been here before. Is there? You know where to go? I know it changes every, whatever, but you know.
Loban picks a random direction and says, "We need to go that way."
Great, lead the way. It's perfect.
She confidently walks in a direction.
in directly in the direction of plot.
Yeah. Wherever that train goes.
wherever that is.
You know what? The opposite direction of plot. What's the other way? Oh, what's this? A whole bunch of rocks? Okay, we're gonna go that way.
I wonder what's underneath them.
The opposite of plot is we all leave and move to a different town that doesn't get rained on by evil melting rains.
Guess we gotta move now.
Yeah.
Who knew living under the bleeding red moon was
a bad idea?
Yeah.
How inconvenient that we live here where the rain eats us and turns us into rocks. Yeah.
We're gonna make this work, though.
We're fine. Mind over matter and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the rent's really good.
So you guys travel for a time in a random direction, searching for things, and the first interesting thing that you occur upon, you're kind of in like subterranean kind of depth, right? And so you're inside this moon, so you're not seeing the surface of it. But you find what almost looks like what we would recognize as like a kind of Greco-Roman architecture, right? It's like an ancient style of architecture, and there are two, like maybe a temple of some kind, and you see two statues of warriors standing before it, holding weapons, huge statues, and you recognize them as Vargellen. Which are a visitant on Earth. It's not clear to people living in the Ninth World right now whether humans were here first or visitants were here first. But it's clear that you guys have both been here for a long time. So these are statues of Vargellans who are what we see as aliens. They have a strange fin. Head and an open cavity where we would assume their heart would be, and they're tall and kind of fish-like. They have eyes on the sides of their head. So you're seeing these two statues, this pretty large kind of temple-like space.
Gosh, you guys, these are the legendary land shark statues. I heard about these the last time I was definitely on the moon.
How sure am I that these are just statues?
Yeah, the legendary land shark statues. Don't get too close to them because I hear they come to life and try and eat you, and while you're on land.
You have a motion detector, Naveed, right? You are detecting motion, though it seems to all be centralized in its head. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of mechanisms working throughout its body, but there's some kind of mechanisms working in its head. So you sense motion in that.
Okay. I would say then I think Loban is right about these land shark things. There's something alive inside of them.
What else do we know about the legendary land sharks?
Well,
sounds like a great Saturday morning cartoon, by the way.
It really does.
Well, legend has it that the land shark could swim through the ground, and the only thing you'd be able to see is their fin, and the last thing you'll ever see is their eyes just heading towards your body as they swallow you whole. Sometimes there are these things called tornadoes that suck all of the ground and these sharks into the air, and it causes massive chaos for everybody. I think there's like a series of movies on that, or if movies exist.
Land Sharknado, I think it is.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that Numenera device. But that can't be true because we can see the land sharks here.
Oh, these are just statues.
Oh. But I thought you said the statues come to life.
These ones should come to life, but that doesn't mean they do exactly what the land sharks of old could do.
Oh, well, what can these do?
Good question.
We don't know yet until we get too close. Last time I didn't get too close, but my buddy Krona did, and Krona never saw her again.
How far away from these statues are we right now?
I think it's our long distance. So
Okay.
I think long distance is 100 feet.
So I have an oddity. It is a metal marble that rolls back to me if I throw it. I would like to throw it at one of these statues. Like, see if I can aim to hit it, and if it reacts in any way, I just want to see, hoping that the marble will roll back to me either way.
Are you aiming for...
I'm going to aim for the head where I see, I've sensed the motion or the life or whatever it is, and I'm going to see how close I can get to that specific point.
Okay. You don't have to roll for that. The marble strikes one of these statues between the eyes, and you guys all see both of them. Their fish-like eyes are just following. Like there's some kind of camera devices. You get the impression.
Okay.
They just follow this marble. It strikes, clatters to the weird, strange red stone floor, rolls along the grout lines, and returns to you.
Okay, you got too close. You got too close. So who wants to go first?
Is it?
I already went. Someone else.
Is it gonna come to life and attack us?
I'm just gonna go quietly move toward it.
Does your friend just throw herself into death every time? Is that like a common occurrence?
I'm like crouched and like
She doesn't. Yeah. Well, she doesn't throw herself into death. I mean, she's still alive. We'll know when she throws herself into death because she won't come back.
That's a fair deduction. Okay.
You
I
go,
guess.
Namara.
Good luck.
So you guys watch Namara step up to the.
I have a sensing danger skill, so I'm using that as I creep closer.
Excellent. Give me a roll for like a perception. So this would be an intellect task.
Okay.
If you're trained in, looks like you're trained in perception and
Yes.
sensing danger, I think both of those would ease it. So we'll say it's weird that I have to give you guys the difficulty. That's not a it's not a usual thing. In order for you to roll on roll 20, but we're going with it.
We could always just roll d20s in chat ourselves if you would prefer us to.
Sure.
Yeah,
We don't have to use the character sheet clicking thing.
Okay.
So I rolled a 9.
All right. And you have eased it by 2, right?
Yes.
All right. As you're approaching, you walk up to the steps, and you're seeing the eyes of these statues eerily following you. And you take a step up onto the front steps of this strange temple, and nothing happens. And you continue up the steps. However, you get a strange tingling along your spine as you're about halfway up the steps, and you see leaking. So there's doors, right? There's these huge, magnificent doors that are ornate and carved in some strange language lost to time. Maybe people could discover what it is with some rolls, but you see between the cracks in the door some kind of green liquid seeping out.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Danger has been sensed.
All right. I think you guys will see her like kind of creeping up the steps. and getting closer and closer. And then when she sees the green goo, she kind of, you know, when you startle a cat and they kind of like leap back, she just, you know, jumps back all of a sudden and crouches down again, kind of turns around, and you guys can see like the goggles, and she's pointing at it and makes a gesture like water.
And as she's making that gesture, you're seeing the water, this green ooze that's pouring down from the cracks along the vertical and horizontal planes, and it's kind of starting to take shape on the ground as this kind of just weird slime taking shape.
I have no idea what she's trying to say.
Well, I don't like this. And Loban's going to take out her ray emitter and shoot it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You can't swim on land. You're not a land shark.
Maybe this is the water for the land sharks to swim in.
Oh, no.
It's a portable
No, that would be a water shark. That came out,
Right.
That went extinct like 1 billion years ago.
But this is a slime, so maybe it's a slime shark.
Gross.
No one's ever heard of a water shark.
You're just making that up now.
What?
Some things are too far-fetched even for this world.
Yeah.
All right, Loban, give me a speed attack roll. You can ease it by spending points from your speed pool if you wish, or you can just make the attack on its own. I don't think you're trained in speed attack rolls, but
I'm going to take a nat 1 for that. So I'm like,
you're gonna
don't like this.
You're gonna take a nat 1 on using your cipher.
Oh, this is. Oh, can
Right,
I only
you're right.
use this once?
Yeah, right. So ciphers
no.
are single use.
Okay.
Items.
I'm still gonna do this then. Then yeah, I'll spend some effort.
Ooh, and this is belt mounted. That's important for reasons. You take your power pose, right, and a ray shines out from your belt, and yeah, allows you to project a ray of energy up to long range that paralyzes the target for a minute. That sounds really powerful. So give me a speed attack roll, and whether you're using effort or not before you roll it.
Okay, so I just click on speed, or wow, I don't really know how to use.
I know this dice rolling is strange, but you can click on the difficulty in the bottom right, and I will tell you the difficulty is a 3. But if you would like to expend effort to reduce that to ensure, you know, a better chance of hitting it, you can
spend some effort.
Excellent. You spend 3 points of effort from whatever pool you're using that the roll is tied to, and that reduces the difficulty of the task by 1. If you have edge, this is kind of just my explanation for everybody how effort works. If you have edge, then that will reduce the cost by the number that the edge is, right? So if you have an edge of 1 in your speed pool, it would only cost you 2 to apply effort. Does that make sense?
Okay, I have no edge in that, so I will click on this after I spend some effort. Ooh, did I do it? Yeah. Oh no!
Oh, a 2.
A 2.
A 2. At least it wasn't a 1.
Well, I could have spent my 1 to get the same result.
Except
so
on 1, the GM gets to fuck with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Nah, it would have been great. Maybe regretted nothing. We'll see.
Which actually I might, I'm going to do a GM intrusion, which is a mechanic where I give Loban, I give you an XP. I give you 2 XP, but you have to give 1 to someone else in the group, right? And in exchange, I make this situation worse than it needs to be.
Yep. Okay, I'll take it, and I'm going to give the other one to Namara, and I'm just going to say that, like, the way just the activation of my belt-mounted cipher work is like, well, don't like this, and like she reaches to her side and like spins it a little so that the like kind of circular belt buckle of ray emitter or beam, and I just like do a turn so that it like goes boing, 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 and like circles of energy start going off, and then like shoots out. And then what happens, I guess, is now up to the GM.
Yeah, excellent. So you feel like you got this aiming down, though it is kind of strange. And the first blast strikes the head of one of these Vargellan statues, and so it right into one of the eyes. And so you see sparks start flying out from the head, and after a second of smoking and sparks, it just explodes and ruptures a hole in the side of this building. Stone collapses. There's a cacophony as the gate that was attached to this part of the wall that just blew out swings open and reveals beyond what looks like row upon row of Vargellans standing similar to the fashion of these statues, but kind of like rows of them going back, almost feeling like a terracotta army, though they look like they're maybe all alive.
Well, we got too close to those ones. We got more land sharks. Gamal,
Is it too late to go in the opposite direction of plot?
Couldn't you have just thrown a marble or something?
Meanwhile, this strange blob has taken shape into something vaguely humanoid, though without a head, and it's a green, kind of gelatinous, liquidous shape, but it has limbs, and it is kind of lumbering down the steps towards you guys.
I'm like shaking my head. No, I don't like this. And
At it, it's like, no, thank you.
I would like to pull out my bow and prepare
also-
to attack it if it comes near.
yeah, I'm also pulling out my bow, and I'm gonna try and I want to try and climb up somewhere high.
Okay, I'll say that there's various different like cabling and whatnot hanging from the ceiling that you can climb up.
All right, I'm gonna like scramble up there and climb up there, and then get out my bow.
Excellent. This thing is lumbering around. Yamal, what are you doing?
So this is just like a big, gooey, headless man. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
I take a step to the side, and then take a step back, and then take a step behind Naveed. And then I crouch down, and I pull out a book and begin to read. Because what nerd is complete without his books? So I have a book about beasts. So I want to know what the hell this thing is.
Excellent. Make a intellect check.
Cool.
So you can expend effort from your intellect pool if you want to decrease the difficulty, but the book will.
So
do
the
it by
book
one,
is
I
an
believe,
asset.
right? An asset.
And can I use perception?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because this is kind of like a memory and a knowledge situation.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then
But you can expend effort from your intellect pool if you want to.
Nah, Naveed has this. I just want to know what it is. 5.
Okay, and it is reduced. So that is a success.
Nice.
This is a creature of legend, part of a group of something called the Insidious Choir.
Ooh.
It is the flu made into flesh.
Gross.
Yeah, though it is kind of weaponized and intelligent and part of some kind of hive mind that just wants to spread.
Okay. Do I know how to kill it?
That's
Oranges?
a good question.
Vitamin C? Zinc? No?
It is inherently kind of liquid-like, but it seems seems like certainly some sharp-pointed things would harm it.
Sure.
Would harm its membrane.
Yeah. So he looks over to everyone who's drawing weapons. He goes, "That's a member of the Insidious Choir. They're weak to weapons."
Lucky me.
Hit them with all of them, Naveed.
As he says that, I sort of draw back my bow and sort of aim a shot.
Excellent.
If I see someone else shoot, I'm not shooting until someone else does. So if
I'm shooting first.
Yeah.
Naveed shot first. There's no question.
Yes. Let's do an initiative. What do you guys think about that?
Okay.
Think about it.
So this is just a regular dice roll. If you're trained in initiative, it would ease it. But the idea is that everyone that beats the creature's number will go before it, and everyone that failed to beat it will go after.
I would like to apply 1 level of effort to mine.
Okay.
So that will cost 2 because I have edge. And that adds +3 to the roll, correct?
Yeah, it will reduce its difficulty.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Do I get anything when I get a nat 20?
Yes, you do. You have a major effect, which is something that we can kind of narratively describe, but some options would be to have the next task you do eased, right? Or let's see. There are ones that are unique to your character as well that I have in a document. But generally, you're looking at accomplishing the thing in a great fashion, right? And in initiative, it's kind of funky, but your Loben, yeah, that isn't helpful, but yeah. So you could have your next task eased. You could, I say, major effects can be basically taking 2 turns. You know, having an extra action. Either of those sound desirable?
I'll just do something unnecessary and cool and then take 1 action.
Okay. All right, so it looks like Loben definitely beat it, as did Naveed because effort was spent. Sorry, I'm navigating these dice rolls here. Looks like Mike did not, Yamal. And who am I missing? Namara.
Yeah, I only rolled a 3. I'm trained in initiative, but I only rolled a 3. So
Okay. All right. So we're looking at Loben and Naveed and in your group, you can go in whatever order you want. So Loben and Naveed will go first in whatever order they wish. Then the creature will go, and then Yamal and Namara will go.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go second just because I already fired. Technically, I shot first because I tried to shoot at it.
I didn't see you actually shoot first, so.
That's fair.
So doesn't count.
Sorry. So I go ahead and I let loose an arrow from my bow at the creature. How far away is it right now?
It's a long distance.
Okay, so I should still be within long range then of a bow. So yeah, let me roll a d20. Uh, 9 to hit.
Excellent, that hits.
Cool. So I deal 4 damage with a medium weapon. Piercing, if it makes a difference.
Excellent. So it seems it definitely has armor in that it has this kind of membranous layer on the outside of it, right? So your arrow thucks through that, and you see a like a gross splash, like a small cloud that oozes out from the hole that you've pierced of this green stuff, kind of right in the area. So you get the impression that it might be dangerous to fight this thing in close contact, right? That it has kind of splattered from your arrow piercing through it, and so the arrow has sunk into the goo, and it kind of quivers and faces you, starts lumbering towards you, right?
You say the arrow quiver. So.
There, yes.
I'm also
Unintended.
I would like to use my fleet of foot ability, so I will spend 1 speed point and move further away from this creature.
Excellent. And it's a short distance, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
And anyone can move an immediate distance, which is 10 feet, and take an action in a turn. So,
Mhm.
but
Just paste
this
that in
ability
chat.
gives him more. Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll just sort of move as far away from it as I can. If I feel like I got its attention, I'm just going to try and lead it away from other people.
All right.
Okay, so Naveed runs backwards, leaving Lobin and Yamal no longer hiding behind anything big.
Yeah. I'm like I'm hanging, from the ceiling. So I'm gonna let off my arrow as well.
All right. Sorry. We did Naveed and Loben is going, and then we've got.
Sorry.
Okay.
And actually, I think you guys kind of got a surprise round on this one because it wasn't really aware of you. It was kind of just lumbering around. So we'll have everyone go on this round without it. So you guys can go in whatever order you wish.
Okay, so Namara can go next.
Okay. So I am rolling 4 on.
Yeah, speed attack, and you can expend effort to reduce it, or you might be trained in it.
No, I have speed defense, but I believe it doesn't say I'm trained. If I'm trained in the bow or not.
Something of note for everybody: if your mod next to your weapon has a 1, then that is easing it.
Oh, okay. I don't for the bow. But can I spend an XP?
You can expend an XP to re-roll, but you can spend points from your speed pool.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you have an edge of 1, so it would only cost you 2 points from your speed pool to ease this by 1 step.
Do that then. 20. Ooh, I'm good. I rolled a 3. I'm helping. I'm so helpful.
We're rolling really bad.
Yeah.
Gosh, aren't you guys so happy you brought me along?
I haven't rolled above a 10, so you're fine.
An arrow crashes into the stone floor and shatters at the feet of this weird, strange creature, and then it steps on it, and it seems to pull the bits of the arrow into itself, like a gelatinous cube, right? That is floating around in its ickiness.
You see Namara just shaking her fist at it.
Damn you, Flu!
Taking my arrows.
How far away is this thing from us? Is it still a long distance?
Yeah, it's still long. It hasn't acted yet, so.
How long is a long distance?
It's 100 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's immediate is close quarters, then it's short, and then long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Yamal is gonna hold his action until this thing gets in short range. But he's not gonna do anything until he's waiting for it to get closer. He's a short range kind of guy.
Okay. And Loben has not gone yet, right, Katie?
No.
Okay.
So it doesn't say that this is a long range thing, but I'm going to use a special ability. It doesn't say what the range is, so I don't know, but it's the onslaught ability.
I think that's short range, but if it doesn't say, yeah, let's go with it.
It does say within short range.
Okay. Yeah, you would not be able to move up close enough to use that this turn.
Okay. Well, I'll just start sprinting towards it. So Naveed runs back, and these guys are shooting arrows, and I just turn to Yamal for just as I'm I thought you said this thing was susceptible to weapons.
It is. Now, it's not just one weapon; it's gonna take it down.
Oh, actually, so you kind of have 2 actions, right? So you, because of your nat 20, so your major effect, so you could move a short distance as your first action, and then you would be within a short distance to
Okay, I'll do that. And then I just so Naveed runs away. I'm well, I guess I'm just gonna sprint on in, and then.
Excellent. So this is an intellect attack, so you can spend points from your intellect pool if you want to reduce its difficulty. Otherwise, you're just going to roll.
I will just roll.
All right.
Is that a 3?
Yes.
Okay. Oh no. Done this twice now.
Oh, y'all rolling so bad.
At least it's not a 1.
All right. I'll do a since it is not a 1. I'm still going to do a GM intrusion, but I'll pay for it. So, Loban, you'll get another XP. You can give another one to anybody else.
I'll give one to my buddy Yamal this time.
Much appreciated.
All right. So you blast this thing with mental energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using your onslaught ability, and then for a split second, you hear a chorus of voices in your head, as if you've established some kind of mental link instead of blasting it. Like voices have traveled back down this this blast that you've made, and you hear hundreds of voices at once asking random questions. What is this? Who are these? Where does this go? And then occasionally you hear a voice interject that says, infect to discover.
Is this like painful, or is just kind of like my own onslaught of things? And so I think Loban's now just kind of like babbling incoherent. It's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say this is this strikes you for 2 intellect points from your pool.
I'll come back over when I see her. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm still hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just look down and be very worried.
Well, sounds good.
All right, so back up to the top. Loban and Naveed can go in whatever order. Sorry, I know this is kind of weird and jumping around, but
No, I dig it. John, you're muted.
Nah.
Sorry about that. I would like to use my Thunder Beam ability at the creature.
excellent.
I focus a beam at a target within long range, inflicting 2 points of damage. And every round after, I roll again to deal 1 damage in addition. If it fails, then it goes away.
All right, give me a roll, and you can expend effort if you want to.
I guess would this
Sounds
be
like a might.
Theoretically? Oh, might. Yeah, I guess so. I was thinking might or speed since it's kind of ranged, but either way, it's fine. I'm not going to spend effort. I think I should try and save my points in my pool. So
Okay, it does cost 2 points to activate it.
Right.
But you do have an edge, so that will reduce it by 1.
Correct. I only rolled a 6 on the die.
Ooh, what happens if it missed? Did you say?
I don't think anything happens if it misses, actually. I have to attack first and hit with it first, or it won't continue on into the next round.
So you could use an XP to re-roll it if you wish.
Yeah, maybe I will. That's probably a good idea. Thanks, actually, for the reminder, because I always forget.
No problem.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, totally. It's one of those things. I've played a lot of Numenera, and people always forget that you can spend XP on that. So I re-rolled it, got a 16.
Excellent. What does it do? It does
2 points of damage, and then
damage.
Or 2, sorry.
All right, and I think it bypasses armor, right?
It doesn't say, or I may have missed it if it does. One sec. Yes, it ignores armor.
Excellent. All right.
Oh, no, it's just the extra rounds that ignore armor. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So what does this look like? Your thunderous roar.
I sort of, as I see my compatriot get sort of too close to this thing and looks like some bad things are happening, I sort of shout, I say, keep away from it. I'm shouting to the creature, keep away. And as I do, the voice sort of booms out, and there's like a actual sonic boom as the sound of my voice seemingly travels faster than the speed of sound to reach the destination.
Yes, and it strikes this thing, and you see a splatter of this green goo as it rips a bit of the membrane apart, and green goo splatters about the area, and it shrieks,
And I'm really close, so I go, ah!
Yes,
and I'm just grossed out, so I'm like, ah.
the green goo lands in a splatter on the floor before Loban and starts to slide along the ground back towards this thing.
What is it doing? What's going on? Why can I only ask questions now?
Is it dead?
Is it dead?
No, it is still standing.
Shit.
It looks angered.
What do we do now?
Well, Loban, you're up, so what do you do?
So is there like can I just like shake off the effect? Or is there something I need to do to like get over this?
Oh, no, you just took damage from it.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of maddening for a second, but you were able to sever the connection by turning off your onslaught.
Okay, so she's going to move the 10 feet away that is allowed in Numenera, and is going to be like, well, that doesn't work. And she's going to say, well, what about this? And then on her belt, she whips out, I'm guessing it's like a blowgun. It says dart thrower on the sheet, but I think that just means that darts.
Awesome. All
and
right.
She'll throw a dart.
Give me a speed attack roll, and I think it's eased, so it will be a difficulty of a 2 or a 6 on the dice.
Yes! A success!
Success! Finally!
Whoa! Is this what it feels like to be good at stuff?
Yeah, you're good at role-playing games now. You win.
Wow.
A dart flies through the air and sinks into this goo with a splatter, and then slowly slides into it and starts floating around inside this green blobby. And now it is acting. So I think the closest person is Loban from the way we've described this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So give me a speed defense roll, and you can expend effort on this if you wish. But it is, you see for a second, a kind of proboscis starts to form where the nose maybe would be, and then a hole pierces in it, and it sprays a jet of this gross green stuff in your direction. So you're trying to dodge out of the way.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So that's a 17. And I didn't expend any effort or anything.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a success. And a 17 gets a minor effect. So I'm not sure what a good example on this would be, but you could ease someone else's roll on defense against this, right? By shouting like a warning shout could potentially be could be a good one. Or this is also a kind of a collaborative effort. What kind of minor effect would you?
Is she in short range or immediate range of this thing?
She's in short range, yeah.
She could dodge backwards to long range to avoid this thing.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I was also going to say perhaps the gooey creature could be off its footing for its next turn. I know that's weird because it's a blob, but it's an idea as well.
Oh, it sprays and it needs to bring some of its goo back into itself before it can like maneuver again. So it's slowed down enough for your next attack.
Yeah. The next move against it will be eased for you guys.
Okay.
Excellent.
Sprays goo. It sprays goo. I don't know what it does.
It doesn't seem necessarily like hot or burning or anything. It's just gross.
I mean, from what we know, red is bad, so the opposite green should be good. But so far, I haven't seen anything I like about this yet. This is like the fourth weirdest thing involving the color green to have ever happened to me.
What were the other four things?
So Yamal and Namara can go in whatever order you guys wish.
Go ahead.
Man, it did not get close enough because Loban is in its way, and I don't want to grenade Loban. I use my dart thrower as well. but his is like part of the gauntlets he's wearing. He just kind of raises his arm up, and it like fires out like the Predator missiles. So yeah, I'm going to fire on this thing, and it is a light weapon, so it is reduced by 1. And I'm just going to give you a straight up D20 roll here to make it easier for everybody. Boom, 14.
Excellent. That hits. A dart flies into it, a spray of its goo. And it is it seems like it's starting to have difficulty keeping its membrane together. Ooh. Right? There's kind of bits of it are just like sloughing off.
I like it.
Yeah, and Namara can go.
I still have a nat 1, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Loban's gonna die.
Yeah. So I'm gonna attempt my bow shot from above and fail miserably.
Okay. So I'll do a free GM intrusion then, huh? So you fire your arrow from above, and it pierces into the top of its head in just such a way that it's made a splatter of this goo directly back at you. So make a might defense as this stuff it splashes over you, and it's not particularly painful, but it might be infectious.
Okay. Might defense. I have no skill in that.
Okay, but you could expend effort from your might pool if you wish to.
I believe I will.
Ease it.
2, I believe. 2 of them.
3 unless
3.
You have edge.
3. Okay. So that is a 16.
Excellent. You do still take 1 point of damage in your might pool from as this stuff splatters all over you. You're just like hacking and coughing and just wiping it all off of you. But
trying desperately to hold on while I'm.
And as you're getting you as it splashes over you, it seems for a second that you can hear the same kind of voices that Loban was hearing. Coming from within it as it's in your ear, but you're like wringing it out of your ear and wiping it off of your face, and buckle down and
I'm very glad that I'm wearing like basically a full body suit because I'm just wiping. I'm already used to this, so I'm just like
wipe your goggles and all right, excellent. So back up to the top, Loban and Naveed can go in whatever order you guys wish.
Loban is going to run away from the sputtering goo.
That's probably good because what I'm about to do is probably going to be messy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just straight up run away. Like, nothing is working very well. Naveed, do something.
Okay. So my my Thunder Beam ability did hit last time, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Mm-hmm. Cool. So I would like to roll again for that. To deal 1 damage that will ignore armor if it hits. 17.
Excellent. And a 17 is gets a minor effect, so you could get an extra damage, or if you would like.
I would like the bow attack that I'm about to make as my action to be eased.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to fire another shot with my bow. Let me just. I'm going to spend a point of effort as well. And since I have speed edge, it will only cost 2 points.
Excellent.
That's an 8.
It still hits, though.
Oh, okay, good. I think the effort was probably what saved me.
So you're seeing like kind of a weird rippling effect from the sound that you blasted it that has been stuck inside this beast. And you're seeing like it rippling all the goo. And you fire an arrow right into the center of that, and then the rippling, the sound gets really intensified, and then this thing just splatters, spreads this goo all over. And I don't think anyone was close to it, right?
I'm so glad you ran away first. That was good.
Yep.
And it is inert. This green stuff is not trying to reconstitute itself. It's just this. And there was a clatter of sounds of things that were trapped inside of it. Arrows and various different bits, maybe a skull or 2.
See, I told you it was weak to weapons. Just a matter of time.
Hey, if you solidified this goo and broke it into pieces, I bet it would count for something.
Count for what?
Freeze it, make drinks out of it.
Yeah.
Look, we're trying to ruin the town below, not save it.
Right, yeah. We're trying to introduce influenza back into the ninth world.
Well, if we froze enough of it, it would count for a shiny shin or two, and then they'd melt, and then infect the town. But at least they'll have gotten that necklace that old lady refused to haggle past a certain amount that I wanted.
I feel like you're having like a real struggle here about something that I just don't understand.
Look, I've been to the moon before, okay?
You keep
Why are
saying
you
that.
questioning me?
You keep saying that, but there's no old ladies on the moon, so I don't know the relevance to what you're talking about right now. I'm very
Everything I do
confused.
is relevant. I'm a protagonist.
I don't. This isn't a book.
I've climbed down and I'm poking my head in this next room.
All right, into the temple.
Mhm.
All right, so inside you're seeing like row upon row of these standing soldiers. They do not register to Naveed as having any kind of movement, and they don't seem inherently dangerous, though it is certainly unnerving. It gives the impression of mummified kind of feeling, right?
Mhm.
If it's okay, I would like to take my recovery roll as an action.
Yes, yeah, everyone can do that if you guys wish. Your recovery roll is a D6, and you add your tier, which you guys are first tier. And you've regained that many points from any pool you wish. And you should also check off under recovery rolls on your character sheet. The first time you recover, it's an action. Second time, it's 10 minutes. Then it's an hour, and then it's 10 hours. So effectively a streamlined version of sleeping. So,
And these all look like Vargellen?
yes, yeah, Vargellen.
Are they all like clay looking, or are they all like the appropriate colors for Vargellen?
They don't look like the appropriate colors for Vargellen. They tend to be like purple and reddish and very bright and vibrant. And these are kind of like a desiccated gray.
Okay. And Naveed said he wasn't getting any senses from these things.
No movement, yeah.
What else is in the room besides this terracotta fish person army?
It's
Yeah,
a long...
Is there like an altar at the front?
It's a long hall, and there's a doorway at the end of it, and it has all this kind of strange ancient look to it, as opposed to the rest of the moon. Seems very like technologically advanced. This seems pretty not.
Right.
Loban pokes one of the statues.
It turns to dust at your touch. Not the whole thing, but your finger pushes into it, and then it just kind of crumbles. Like. So
Okay, she walks away from it and pretends she didn't do that.
I'll like walk behind you and also do that like super conspicuous. We just didn't do anything at all.
I had a sword. If I had a sword axe, is that what they're called? The glaive weapon. I would just go wild in here and like.
Dude,
I'm not gonna do it. Though.
Yeah, how close together are all of them?
Okay, I feel like if these are here, then no one else has been here, right? So the best chance of finding something awesome is in here.
It's a good observation.
Or
I'm like
warmth.
Robert.
I feel like Namara's cold. Does she want a fire? No. Hand warmers, gloves, tiny things, crabs. Got it.
Mwah.
A race of Italians.
I just came out and I pull out. I have a little thing. I pull out this tiny purple crystal on a chain, and I give it a little squeeze, and it makes this very soft, pleasant little musical chime when I do that. And it's just like a minor thing that I have, but I'm like, do that, and then I pointing to it. Then I point to the door.
Yes. And he
That
like
door
glances.
is a necklace. That door is a necklace.
He glances to Loban. Anyway, clearly not understanding what Namara is trying to say. It just goes right over his head. I think we should go in further. And he begins to walk like through this temple hall, like the long temple hallway to the back of it.
Yeah. How close together are all these statues?
Immediate. It's like a 15-20 foot wide hallway with some kind of totally ruined ancient dusty carpet. There's just dust motes in the air everywhere, and so these statues or figures are 20 feet apart.
Okay.
Does that?
20 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna make some dominoes, but okay.
Next
to the hall.
You could. I thought you meant across the aisle, but no, next to each other.
They're like shoulder to
Okay.
shoulder, right?
I attempt to tip one over.
I feel like you're provoking so many GM intrusion desires from me, Katie.
Do it. I'll take all the XP.
I say go
I'm
for
a
it.
big fan. I love GM intrusions.
Yeah.
They're so great.
Something that makes the story more interesting.
How dare we?
And I'm so glad, like, now that you're about to destroy everything and fill it with dust, that I already have my face covered.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too.
All right, so yeah, I'll do a GM intrusion. You get an XP and you can give one to someone else.
Okay. So it says here that I started with 3 XP. Does that mean should I
Yes.
have started? Okay.
Yeah, I just had everybody start with 3 just because, yeah, it's helpful.
It's good.
Can we
It's
use
good to
that?
have them to spend when you need it.
Yeah. Can we use XP for anything else besides rerolls and refusing GM intrusions?
Are we allowed to do player intrusions?
Yes, yeah. Player intrusions are unique to each different type. So that information, I'm not sure if that information was in the quick start rules that I had given you guys, but yeah, but you can use a player intrusion to kind of interject your own piece of the story, make some kind of call on your own. You can also use 4 of them for XP to level up your character in a particular fashion, which it sounds kind of complicated, but actually just on the bottom of your sheet, you can see what the ones are. Increased capabilities, adds 4 to a stat pool. So if you have 4 and would like to do that, you can do that.
Okay, I'll keep it in mind. But
can
also,
also
I
use
accept this XP.
You can also
and-
spend an XP to stop a GM intrusion.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I will never do that.
They're great on nat ones, because nat ones you get nothing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I give it to Naveed because I gotta spread the love, and I'm gonna hoard all my XP.
All right, a domino effect happens where Loban walks up and pushes one of these, and even as it's tilting, it's starting to fall apart. Right, pieces of it are kind of disintegrating as it moves, but it crashes into the next one, and this domino effect happens where all of them are crashing and turning into dust, and just this great cloud of dust fills the room, and everyone is coughing and hacking. And actually, there are 5 coughs and hacks. One that was not standing among you guys, that was further down the hallway.
So Loban ran, if possible, ran out of the room as soon as one fell. It's like, I know it's gonna happen. So you hear 4 coughing and maniacal laughter, not inside the room anymore.
I wish I was playing my other Numenera character because she throws things, and I throw things at you for doing this to me.
Everybody give me a might defense.
Oh, good. A might defense.
Against this terrible coughing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend a point of effort on this.
Do I have to if I said I ran out the room?
I think so, but it'll be eased.
Okay.
11 for me.
Excellent. All right, you succeed.
15 for me.
Yeah, I rolled a 10.
All right. You guys are all good. But you're hacking and coughing.
I'm going to need a new hanky.
What the,
You're all covered in this.
what the hell just happened?
This
So from the
dust.
outside the room, is there anything good in the dust? I thought maybe there'd be something good in the dust.
There was
No.
definitely a clatter of things that did not disintegrate. That were not
So
organic.
that coughing sound that I heard, presumably there was a motion attributed to it as well, correct?
Yeah.
I would like to rush straight toward whatever that is and draw my hammer.
Okay. You rush towards it, and there is a figure who's crouching, human figure, and as you rush towards them and raise your hammer, they scream out, say, "No, please, no!"
So I grab this person by their shirt or jacket or whatever it is they're wearing, and I'm not going to attack them or anything, but I want to get a close look and ask, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
You grab hold of them, pull them close. They have long, gray-white hair and a scraggly gray-white beard. And for a second, you feel like you don't recognize them at all. But then you recognize some familiar patterns in their face as being Vere, Vere, a person who was among the first explorers to go up to the changing moon, but vanished in an unexpected shift on the changing moon some years ago.
Okay. I say, "Oh, Vere, it's you. What are you? Oh, I assumed you were long dead."
Vere. Is that me?
I sort of look back at Yamal and everyone else, and I'm like, I'm not sure I'm equipped to handle this situation because I have a weapon in my hand.
Clearly,
that is my equipment.
Clearly, the prolonged exposure to the changing moon can also change one's mind.
I sigh, and I sort of put my weapon back on its belt hook that I sort of hang it from. And I say, "Please, come talk with us. Let's see if we can help you get back to the town. Certainly you don't want to stay here."
What town?
I sort of, my eyes narrow a little bit, and I'm like, if you don't even remember it and you don't desire to return, I don't know what to say. Just stay out of our way while we're here, and we will not interfere with your life any more than we already have.
What do you remember?
Of a town?
No.
Of a life before the moon?
Okay, so you do remember the town.
I remember a town, but I don't remember its name. Or what I was there.
What have you been doing on the moon?
Surviving. And
How's
he
that
holds out a handful of, now it's covered in dust, but some moss and fungus and lichen that he's scraped off the walls, and says, would you care to feast with me, new friends?
No.
He turns into Torgo from Monos, The Hands of Fate.
Absolutely
Lopin
not.
pokes her
The
head.
master would not approve.
I take my stuff off my face and I hold my hand out.
You don't know what that's been.
He places this strange fungus in your hand.
I'll eat some.
Don't just eat mushrooms.
Lopin pokes her head back in the room. Did you find a guy in the armor?
It's Vere. I don't know how long, Lobin, you have been living in town, so you may not even know this person, but I would say it's someone long from the town long ago that we thought was missing.
Ah, yes. Vere, we were buddies back in the day. How's it going? She thumps him on the back.
He looks at you with no recognition in his eyes.
What, you don't remember me, buddy? Don't you remember that time in the marketplace with the bread and the cheese?
And the old woman's necklace? I've heard this story before. So does he look like addled? Like what's...
Oh yeah, looks very confused.
Okay.
Like he hasn't seen people in a really long time.
Okay.
How am I fine eating this moss or
It seems nutritious, though it tastes like cardboard.
could be worse?
Cardboard and dirt.
I just kind of
Cardboard and dirt.
pat him on the shoulder and try and be reassuring.
I get out one of my rations of food. I have 5 days worth, and I give him one. And I say, if you'd like to eat something else for a little while, you can have some of this.
He holds it in quivering hands, and his stare fixates on it, and then ravenously digs in.
Vero pal, you gonna sit here eating moss and Naveed's rations, or you wanna come with us and maybe we'll bring you down a ladder that turns into going up a ladder that turns into somewhere in between, somewhere in the middle, you know.
Down back to the village. You know the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take him there first.
Wait.
That's such an annoying climb. I don't want to do it twice.
Yeah.
Well,
Very. Do you know where? How well do you know the moon?
As well as one can know a place that changes every week or so.
You're sassy for a crazy old guy. You know where we can find auriculum around here?
I have seen great treasures in a room that I have peeked into just beyond, motions towards the door.
I start going toward the door.
The direction of plot.
Whoa.
No, treasure. He said,
The direction of
he said
treasure.
the magic word.
Okay. Tell you what, Very. You sit here in the safe, dusty room, and he like reaches into one of his pouches and like activates his glow globe and just sort of like tosses it, and it like hangs in the air. You sit here, take this light, eat this food. We're gonna go find the treasure, and we're gonna come back and get you and take us all back to the town.
He looks with a blank stare between all of you, as if not quite believing this, maybe thinks he's hallucinating altogether, and then finally just nods and continues eating.
Great. Hope you're here when I'm back. And he follows Namara.
Yep. Hope we catch up again soon. Love this box again.
All right, so you guys press onward. A great door opens and leads into a stairwell that is heading into the unknown. You guys head down the stairwell, and you arrive in a massive open space after a time that you're standing on kind of an edge, looking out into an abyss below that is a huge spherical shape that buzzes and whirs and seems to be constituted entirely of this red rain insectoid stuff. And above that are some the equivalent of the Numenera equivalent of some rope bridges leading to a black cube over that. They're like mesh walkways. This gives the impression to our minds as players of kind of like an engine room, almost like a hyperdrive room. Though to Numenera Ninth Worlders, it's just some big, crazy, weird thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the thing from Event Horizon. I don't know if anyone else has seen the engine room.
Mhm.
That's what I'm envisioning right now.
It looks like a Rube Goldberg machine as far as
Yes.
You see, like, Yamal walk into this room and just in complete awe, and anyone near him he can hear him say, "I have no idea what this is."
I'm just like mouth open, just staring at everything, and then I'm gonna head for the to climb up on the thing.
Yeah. Well, why don't you smart guys go over there and take it apart and figure it out?
The giant globe of red water, right? The red rain, is it like loose? Is this like an anti-gravity just orb of water like we're in space, or is it like encased in something?
No, it seems loose, but it is below. So you've got walkways and this cube in the center, and then the orb is beneath all that.
Good. Yeah.
So in a hypothetical situation in which you were to fall,
right, you would be immediately
It would be
devoured
into
and
the-
shat out as a giant 9-foot stone. Got it. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Just making sure we're on the same page. Then it would be like, oh no! Whoop, this big stone falls on the other side.
that just
Okay.
crashes into the city below.
Yeah. Got it. Dope. Can we see? Is there a below the red sphere, or is that all we can see?
It's darkness.
Okay.
But maybe you could drop a glow globe or something.
I do have an extra glow globe, but I don't want to attract this giant swarm of death to my face. That'd be very inconvenient. Man, yeah, I'm gonna follow Numenera towards the black thing as quickly and carefully as possible.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so this traversing across this mesh walkway, it's not so much a walkway, and it has fallen into disrepair, so it is going to be a challenge, right? I think it is going to be a demanding, so a 3, you're looking at a target of 9 on the dice, right? But if you're trained in acrobatics or climbing, I think any of those things could apply.
No. Is this might or speed?
I could see it being either way. Your choice.
Okay. I will use, since it's not in good repair, I'm going to use my speed, because I'm sort of small and light. I'm kind of hoping to just, hop across as fast as possible. And I will spend, is it 3 for my pool? Yeah. 3?
Yeah, unless you have edge. That would
Oh, I
reduce
do
it.
have an edge, yeah, in speed. So I will do that, and then I will roll my d20. So I rolled a 10.
Excellent. All right, you walk very carefully, cautiously across this bridge, and there's definitely one moment where you're about halfway across and you look down and feel a sense of fear and vertigo as it seems like this orb below is almost creating some kind of limb that's reaching out towards you, but then you shake your head and think maybe you imagined that and continue on and arrive at the cube, at this big black cube.
All right. I want to look at the cube. I want to search it over, see if it has buttons or something.
Do you want the rest of us to roll to get across the bridge as well?
Yeah, the cube seems solid, so no immediate.
I'm trained in jumping.
Okay.
So, did you give us a difficulty for this? I can't remember.
Yeah, a 3.
3. Okay. So, training and jumping.
Oh no!
I'm going to spend effort as well.
Okay.
Can spend one
So
of those
it takes down
XP,
to
Katie.
difficulty 1. 18.
Excellent. And with an 18, you've got a minor effect, so perhaps you...
I'm going to scoop up my friend Yamal and just carry him with me.
Okay.
I'll say it eases his roll. He'll still have to roll, but...
I rolled a 16, so I'm fine.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay.
You might want to scoop up Loban.
Yeah, let's scoop up Logan.
Loban's like steps on a hole and is falling through.
Okay.
Yes.
Loban misses the rope entirely. Just
In that case, I will use my my skill to sort of try and pick up Loban then.
Okay, yeah.
Prevent her
Lopin
from
is
falling.
right behind you, very carefully crawling across, and a piece of this synth metal starts to bend and shift, and Lopin slides off and is barely clinging from the edge of it, but Naveed reaches down an arm, and of course the camera gets a close-up shot of Naveed's incredible muscles as he pulls her back up.
his
They're
rippling
like
form.
so, like they have veins on the veins. The veins are ripped.
Yeah, they wanted to do this scene shirtless, but the director's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Why is he shooting?
It's
Doesn't matter.
Popeye after spinach, but the whole body looks like that.
I would have to always be shirtless, and that wouldn't make sense either. So
Yeah.
Yes, and because of the moisture from the red rain, you're also like glistening too. Yeah.
and the moisture from the red rain, all of your armor disintegrates off, and you look pretty cool for like a split second, but then
That's what's important. That's really what matters.
Shoot out of your body and you die.
All right, so you guys are all standing on the edge of this walkway right in front of this black cube, and Namara has felt along its edges, and there doesn't seem to be any immediate entryway, but you can use. Someone could make a perception or a Numenera roll to see if they can identify anything like that.
I toss my metal marble down the abyss. I just want to see if it can come back. I'm putting it to the ultimate test.
You guys all see the marble descend into the cloud.
And the cloud ascends.
And devours you all.
Shit!
I'm not a very smart character. I'll just preface this all with that.
You all stand and watch through the mesh of the platform that you're standing on for several long moments and get the impression that it is not returning.
I'm gonna miss that marble.
I was gonna say, did you have your heart set on keeping that for a while?
Not really. It's only ever gotten me into trouble.
Yamal stands looking at the giant black cube and still arms crossed, looking very quizzical at it, like kind of examining it from like different angles. I still have no idea.
Like a Numenera roll.
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, Loban, you want to make a Numenera, understanding Numenera roll?
Yeah.
Turns out the Numenera builder in the city has an inability to understand Numenera.
Isn't that weird about the right class?
So I legit just wing it.
You're like, I can figure out if there's plans, but not like just looking at it.
I'm the sorcerer of Numenera. Like, I don't know how I get these powers, but fire! Look at that.
I am skilled in understanding Numenera, so...
Excellent.
And I rolled a 20.
There you
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. So you have seen something like this before, though it was just an oddity when you saw it and in a small shape of a cube that if touched in a particular way and a particular command word is spoken, that the cube would go from being opaque to being transparent, and one that you could pass through. So you do that.
I know what this is, because I've been to the moon before. This is the Konami cube. 1 second. Up, down, left, right, B, A, start. Whoom.
Yes. It makes a tremendous sound, and the cube seems to vanish, like the outside of the cube seems to vanish altogether, and there is just the size and shape of that cube. There's a platform, there's a room. And it is filled with all kinds of strange running machinery along the walls. However, it also gives you the impression of being some kind of king's throne room. There's all kinds of inert Numenera that's stacked around, and there is a Vargellan figure seated in a throne and several rows of bowing kind of servants in front of it, and then all kinds of bits of Numenera and whatnot stacked around. Gives the impression of this king finding this incredibly beautiful space and then making it his treasure room.
Dibs.
I'm immediately like
what?
pocketing and shoving them in my many pockets. Bag.
All right.
I don't even know what it is. I'm just shoving stuff in my.
Anybody who has used a cipher already can replenish.
Oh yeah, I would like to. If there are ciphery looking things around, maybe I could poke around and see if I can find one that might be interesting.
Okay. I have cipher cards, so I'll deal you one.
I used a cipher.
And so the way that these work is the gray card is a mechanical. Tells you the mechanics for the cipher, and then the gold one tells you like what it looks like. So you should have one of each of those, Naveed.
Oh, cool.
And Namara is gonna grab a cipher as well.
So do we grab one of each of these cards, or wait?
Yeah, I guess I should have just had it where you guys could grab them, but I'm dealing it.
How do you want me to choose which of the 3 on my particular card are the cipher?
Maybe roll d6.
Okay.
Yeah, because they print multiple ones in order to give it kind of
Gotcha.
replayability.
So, Keith, can I scavenge this place and look for
Yes.
Oraculum specifically?
Mm-hmm. And the task will be eased by 2 because it is ripe, right? It's ripe with goodness.
Cool. What is the task?
It is an 8. So it is definitely difficult, but it's eased by 2. So it's a 6 then. You're trained in it. So a 5.
So a 5. Okay.
So 15. But you can use effort to reduce that as well.
Would perception help me in this scenario?
Sure.
Okay. And you can only use a maximum of 2 skills, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
And you
So
can
that
only
makes
have
it-
1 asset.
Yeah, so that makes it a 4. Cool. Let's give that a check and see what happens here.
Wait, could I get a cipher too?
And someone could also help you.
Yeah, I am going
reduce
to.
it by 1.
Yeah, I am going to reduce this by 1 effort
Okay.
to make it a 3. And yeah, he kind of like looks to everybody and says, he describes what the oraculum looks like. It's a black stone. It shines. It looks like if you look at it in the light, it looks kind of almost gold and glittery. We need to find that. Search for that. And he kind of like, tells everyone to find that. So assuming people find that.
Is
that would
it
be...
this? Is
Nope.
it this?
Nope, not that.
This?
Nope, not
Is
quite.
it this?
Nope.
I'm maxed
Wow.
every level on this. I just got a level 8 electrical detonation device.
Dang.
Nice.
Awesome.
I barely succeed to find Oraculum.
Awesome. Yeah, you find 3 units of Oraculum, which is enough to fix and superpower the installation, the umbrella.
Great. This is the exact amount I need to fix the umbrella. Don't forget, we need 20% more.
Oh, right.
Each.
I'm trained in salvaging Numenera. So since I haven't used my ciphers yet, I was basically going to salvage some as payment. I was going to try and grab a few things as payment, and then maybe pocket a couple of extra things for profit.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, you'll pay the 20% in ciphers. However, the kind of complication is that your cipher limit as a character, if you have more than that, they have a chance to kind of start reacting off of one another. So you can't necessarily like stockpile a bunch of ciphers because they all produce this kind of weird aura that if there's more than your limit, it starts to become problematic. Yeah.
Very bad things start happening.
All right. Then can I use that to try and find more of the ore?
Yeah, you can make a roll to salvage.
Okay.
And that'll be eased by 2. Then you're trained in it. So we're looking at a 5, but you can expend effort or get someone else to help you to reduce it. And then you're looking at a difficulty 4.
I'm gonna use some XP to re-roll. That's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much
There you
good.
go.
Nice.
Finally.
And actually, I'll have both of you guys, Yamal and Namara, roll a d6. This is how much that you find. Nice.
6.
All right, you guys have plenty to pay the 20% and fix the.
So you see Namara like literally dive into a pile of stuff, and then like the stuff, she kind of like just disappears under this pile, and then
Scrooge
like,
McDuck.
yeah, and then you see like
you hear the scuttling noises and there's a mound.
It sounds like you're rummaging in a junk drawer.
There are a few like noises that don't make any sense.
Like a duck sound quacking. Quack.
Yamal is standing in this place. Like he has the arachnum that he needs. He sees that Namara has a bunch too, and he's like looking back and forth between like all of the clearly Numenera devices that he can rip out of places. And he's looking back to the door, and looking back to the devices, and back to the door, and you see him reach into his pocket again, and he's rummaging around much like Namara's junk drawer. And I'm going to use my right tool for the job ability again. To build something. I'm going to try to craft something here, Keith.
Okay.
I want to craft a sled in which to put Numenera on, because there's a perfectly good crazy person out there who can hold a bunch more Numenera.
Sure.
And bring that shit back down.
We got ourselves an NPC, folks.
Yeah.
That was the backpack.
So I'm going to try to craft something to make a makeshift sled to just pile some Numenera on and drag with us back through the way.
Excellent. I don't.
Are
think
you envisioning like a levitating sled, like it almost like floats off the ground?
Yeah, I feel like with the amount of Numenera shit in here, we could probably make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do.
Okay, levitation I think will require a roll.
Yeah.
Let's say this is a 3, so a 12, a 6, 9.
Cool,
What are
a 9.
numbers?
So I'm
9.
trained in crafting Numenera. I also have an asset for right tool for the job, so that makes it a 1.
Excellent.
So,
yeah, so a 3 on the dice.
So I get a minor thing. I think that's what that is. 18.
Oh, with an 18, yeah. Yes, this is a perfectly floating sled. And what would be a good minor thing for it?
I think the minor thing for it will be like it floats at a level in relation to the person leading it, right? So it's unaffected by the rope that we have to climb back down because it floats at a constant level of the person leading it.
Excellent. Like a magnet or something.
Yeah.
It's kept at a certain distance from them.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, you loaded up with goodies. With various salvaged iotum and whatnot.
Yep.
Everybody gets an XP from a GM intrusion, from
Great.
a group GM intrusion.
Awesome.
As you're standing in this cube, everyone feels the sense that something just changed. And you see outside the cube a ripple as a shift occurs across the whole moon. And you see everything outside the cube reorganize itself in a wave of madness, and then the cube is in a totally different place altogether. The moon has shifted unexpectedly.
Yep, we stuck on the moon.
Well, maybe I
Well,
better
shit.
use this electrical detonation and just blow us all up.
Wow, look, Loban spent 7 XP to shift the moon. Exactly. 4.
How's that for a player intrusion? I shift the moon back with my mind.
I also want you all to make an intellect defense of a difficulty 3 to not be lost in time space.
Okay.
I'm lost in time space.
I'll spend a little bit.
A good place to use your nat 1 on.
Yeah.
I am going to spend 3 points to lower the difficulty by 1.
I
Ow, I reroll.
I'm gonna use my nat 20.
I was gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna use mine too. The donated nat 20. Yeah. So it's almost the end of the show. I might as well drop some nat 20 action on there.
Excellent. Okay.
Can I spend more XP to do it again?
Yeah,
I think you can keep
you
spending
can
your
spend
rolls
you
as
can
long as
spend
you want.
as many XP as you have.
and you can also expend effort too if you feel like it's gonna
Yep,
be
I did expend effort.
okay. And anyone who expended effort and rolled a nat 20 does not have to pay the effort cost.
Ah. But also, like, geez, I rolled a 2, and then I rolled a 4, and then I rolled a 6. So there we go.
All right. Well, with this 6. Wait, what did I said it was a. Oh, but you expended effort, so you
Yeah.
succeeded. Yeah, I think everybody succeeded, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So for a quick moment in time, you feel this ripple pass over you, and it seems like you might be utterly lost in the wave that's consuming everything. But then you manage to emerge from the other side of it, still in this cube, though everything around you is different, has changed.
Yes.
I'm having a hard time getting home.
Just as I predicted, this would definitely happen. I knew that this would happen.
I'm just like clinging to Loban's arm.
Why wouldn't you warn us?
You know, it was like the weather. I thought everyone just knew how that worked.
No.
I know how the weather works.
No. No one knows how this place works. If you knew, the town could have used this for years.
I'll explain it to you on the way back.
Great. Do you know how to get back?
Yeah, we gotta go this way.
Perfect. Lead on.
Loban walks in a random direction.
Oh man, I hope that Vera guy's okay.
You do indeed find Vera.
Okay.
And he seems relieved to find you guys, though also devastated by the idea that this shift occurred and that you don't know your way back out now.
No, we know our way back, Vera. Come on, buddy. We're gonna get back to the town. This way.
Loban seems to know what she's doing.
Oh, also, here's your sled.
You pull our sled now.
Also, carry this pack mule.
We ride the sled. You pull. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, she does. Loban jumps on top and does the thing where she's got like one foot up on a stool so that she can like have both hands on her hips and go onward.
All right. Well, since we are getting close to the end, because we're wrapping in 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking. We'll fast forward and say that you guys journey for a time, and then eventually find a space that juts out from the bottom of the moon that you feel like might be reasonable to escape from. And so you manage to hail the city below and get an extra bit of cable hurled in your direction several times until finally you catch it and descend down into the city triumphantly, work to repair the umbrella, I assume.
Absolutely.
Yamal does.
Yeah.
The rest of you hawk all your goods in the marketplace.
Yeah. I'm keeping mine. You never know when you're gonna need a big bomb.
I make sure that I bring Namara with me.
Yes.
And we clean up.
Yeah. I let Laban do all of my haggling for me.
So the Envere returns to his children.
Oh wow, he has his family.
Yeah, who have missed him dearly. Though they all seem a little confused and burdened by the fact that he doesn't quite comprehend a whole lot of things anymore and doesn't even quite recognize them at first. And time passes a little uneventfully for a time. We've got our umbrella fixed. The red rain pouring down is sliding off the edges of the umbrella and no longer damaging the city. The slabs of red stone have been used to construct a new building in the city.
The one shot of Vere slowly managing to integrate himself back in the family, and they're at a big family dinner, and Loban is right there eating with them, pretending that, yeah, she does know all these people.
Yes, remember me? That old woman in the necklace.
Wow, it's been so long. We should catch up more often.
One time we shared that necklace together.
And so everything seems to be going well for a time until one morning there's a commotion in the street that you all awake to.
A commotion, you say?
And stepping out into the street, everyone seems to be looking up at the moon and pointing and squinting up into the sky. You see that there is a vessel, a flying vessel of some kind that is slowly lowering down one of the openings of the moon.
Oh, so it's like coming out from the moon itself?
Mm-hmm.
Melon Dweir isn't gonna like that. Are there things shooting at this thing coming down, not from the ladder?
There are definitely there's some motion of people readying the Numenera cannon, the anti-air cannon or whatever they have.
The anti-Numenera cannon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, what does the ship look like?
Give me a understanding Numenera.
Cool. I have a minus to that.
Use perception.
Sure.
Okay.
What's the DC for this one?
I'll say this is a 4.
Okay, so I'm going to use perception to knock it down 1, and then understanding Numenera to bump it up by 2. So, because I have an inability, so it's still a 4. Cool. So let's see what happens.
You can expend effort if you wish.
I'm going to expend an XP. Nailed it.
Awesome. You can tell by the way that this it's a flying craft, and you can tell by its construction that it resembles the kind of curved architecture of the Vargellan temple that you saw. It seems of Vargellan make.
What do I know about the Vargellan?
They are visitants, so they have lived on Earth maybe as long as humans have, and they're native. They have native settlements and whatnot throughout. But what kind of information are you looking for? Maybe
like, are they hostile? Are they like an aggressive species, or that kind of information?
No, they're pretty deadpan. They're very fluid. They can actually reorganize their organs and change their genders and whatnot through a ritual that they perform with this weird hole in their chest. That can make themselves stronger or smarter or whatnot by reorganizing their organs. So they're very fluid. They're kind of Numenera's elves, I feel like.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you know that Lopin calls them land sharks.
Land sharks,
right.
yeah.
I think given that we found that temple, Yamal sees this happening and
They're
runs.
mad about the statues, aren't they?
They're probably mad about the statues. And runs towards where the ladder is to go find the person who's in charge of town to tell him not to shoot down the Vargellans.
Yeah, Melondweir.
I have a tendency to sleep in attics and stuff. I like to get high, so and I also like to climb on the roof. So I'm gonna do the anime running across the roofs thing.
Yes.
Just boing boing boing, until I get to the cannons, and I want to get between the person using the cannon and the cannon and just be trying to do the just getting in their face.
I think she's trying to direct traffic so that we know how to aim the cannon better.
I'm like, stop.
Stop! No! The Melondweir is the one who is actually standing behind the cannon, and all the different, loading processes involved in it are all being done by one of these vat people that Melondweir is guarded by.
I hate Melondweir.
Gross. I'm trying not to make gagging faces at the
at their spongy, faceless facade.
Oh no! I just saw nothing. I saw something in chat that's going to be interesting. Oh no!
So, what is Melondweir doing?
Is readying this cannon and aiming at up at this vessel, and is like, whatever this is coming out of here, it can't be good.
I think Namara is trying to tell you to stop, and Loban just was popped into the scene. She's there now.
You can make a persuade roll if you guys want to. That would be an intellect check, and if you're skilled in positive interactions or intimidation or
lying and trickery.
I feel like my hatred of this person makes positive interactions not a real possibility in this current situation. I'm like, I've been lying this whole time, and he's never made me roll for it. Now I have to be nice to someone and making me do this. I don't know what the difficulty is.
I think 5 was what we had said
I'm
before
gonna
for Melendweir.
Spend
But you guys could work together to ease it as well, or
Okay.
expend
Yeah,
effort.
I'm going to
Yeah.
assist to knock it down one for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to help too with my hand gestures.
Yeah. Do we build assists in this game?
I
You
think you
get
can just get one.
Okay. So I've expended effort and I'm getting assisted. So now it is.
Do you have any training in persuasion or?
I am skilled in lying and trickery. So
Oh well.
I guess I could just lie and be like,
It would be better if you didn't.
These are our friends that we met up there. Yeah, if you can figure out a way to have a trickery be involved, you could reduce it again, and that would be a 2. So you'd be looking at a 6 on the dice.
okay. I'd just be like, wait, you can't shoot that down. When we went up to the moon, that temple contained numerous amounts of Numenera and other goods, and we couldn't get it down in one go. So we figured out how to program it to come down here on its own. This is for you.
This is your 20%.
Everything was going fine until
Yeah.
that moment.
All right, give me a roll. We're looking at it. Nice.
Wow. Damn close.
Melendweir looks at you with the strange ocular implant that's focusing and refocusing for a long moment, and then says, "Well, fine, but it better be a hefty load that you've brought me."
You'll see.
It is.
I'll tell you on the way.
So the ship descends from this tunnel in the moon, and moves towards the marketplace where carts and people are scattering in fear. You guys arrive there to greet these visitors.
Yeah.
They do. I'm hiding on a roof somewhere.
Up high.
In someone's attic.
The door irises open with a wish and a whir, and a great beetle-shaped beast emerges from within that seems to be composed of the same spongy green material that the viral creature you faced earlier.
I feel kind of bad about saying we should allow this ship to land now.
Loman recoils back a little bit. She's like, "Oh man, it's the goo again." But then she goes, "Hey, buddy, good to see you again. How's it going?"
It opens its pincers and lets out a terrifying scream and sprays some of that green goo into the midst of the crowd, and several people drop to the ground screaming,
Oh God.
wiping this stuff away.
Okay, and then while I kind of stand near, without turning back, I go, "Melendweir, this man has hijacked the load of treasure that we took.
He is not our friend.
He is not our friend."
I'm gonna use one of my ciphers.
Okay.
I'm also in the cipher.
I have. I'm gonna aim. Like, I'm gonna try not to hit as. I'm gonna hit as few of the locals as possible.
They're scattering at this point. They're like all running away from it. So
It's like when that scene from Mars Attacks when they just start killing people and everyone realizes they're in danger and starts running.
they were all excited to see this new visitor, but then they're like, ah!
Yeah. So I shoot a sphere, and it explodes over the beetle and covers it in sticky goo.
Excellent. Give me a like a speed attack roll for that, and you can ease it with effort.
Yes. I will take from my pool. Whoops. D20. What? Wrong button. I'm gonna spend another XP to re-roll that because that's garbage. I got more XP. Hang on.
And now for that one. Oh no!
Okay, I have one more XP. This is my last one.
The joys of Will.
Oh! You came right back where you started.
You hurl this web detonation, and it strikes the strange chitinous shell of this beast and doesn't break. So it lobs up into the air, and as people are running, it lands into the midst of them and creates this gooey web that all these citizens of the city get to.
Oh no!
And I'm like, you see her like, she's like on the rooftop, right? Like leaning over the edge of the cars. Like she looks all excited, and then it misses, and then it goes over there, and she's just like,
Well, I hope no one saw me do that.
like just creeping back behind the edge of the.
Oh.
Yeah, Yamal steps up and puts his arm up like he's going to fire one of his darts, but he's launching a Numenera device as well. And I'm going to spend from my speed pool to knock it down one. And then, yeah, I'm going to launch my fire grenade. So it's like the web grenade, but fire instead.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Y'all are really going to like my
Catch
move.
on fire.
Just regular old fire. I'm gonna spend an XP. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Gosh.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. So
you're
the
gonna burn all the people now.
no. So the major effect is I fire it. So this thing just stepped outside of the vehicle, right? The ship. I fire it directly into the ship.
Yes, excellent. How
So
much damage does it do?
explodes in an immediate area, dealing 4 damage to everything.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to say that the explosion is kind of a chain reaction within the ship. The ship actually, some kind of fuel cell in the ship explodes and sends this beast scuttling. Flaming debris is flying all over the place and landing on the back of this creature, and it's squealing out in pain, and it does 8 damage. It's going to do additional damage from the critical effect. And this beast is wild and angered.
Naveed, do something.
I was about to do the exact same thing you did.
It's weak to weapons.
Took my idea. Okay, so I guess without any hesitation, I'm gonna just bust out my hammer and just rush straight at this guy and try and attack as hard as I can. Do I have a difficulty, or should I just roll?
Just go ahead and roll.
Okay.
And if you want to ease it or whatnot before.
Yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, I should definitely spend. Actually, I have 4 XP. Are you okay if I take an advancement right now to my effort and just add 2 effort instead of 1?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 points of effort then for 5 or 4 because I have edge to attack with my hammer.
Excellent. And yeah, excellent. All right.
Yeah, so that's a 19 to hit. It should be a minor effect, right?
Yeah, you can go for +3 damage, or you could ignore armor.
Okay, I think I'm going to do +3 damage, taking the total from my attack to 8.
Excellent. Oof. So you run up and smash it with your hammer, and its chitinous shell splits open, and all this gross green goo splatters about the area. I don't think that it does not hurt you. Oh no, it does. Give me a might defense as this stuff splatters in your face.
Alrighty. I will just leave it unmodified. Oh, I'm gonna spend an XP to reroll that. Here we go. This is how we get all our XP burned. All right, I'm gonna spend one more. Actually, yeah, no, I'm probably dead if I don't pass this. So I'm gonna spend another XP. 12. I'm gonna leave it there.
And are you trained in might defenses, or are you using any effort?
I didn't say I was before, so I'm probably not.
All right. You have contracted some kind of infection.
Oh.
And the way it manifests for you is this terrible sound of the million voices all talking in unison. Infect to discover, infect to understand.
Okay. So am I infected now? Like I'm now working for them? Or
Not yet, but
Okay.
that's
Just
for the
get-
that's the
sure.
epilogue. The denouement.
Gotcha. Cool. So I'm not going to tell anyone that I feel ill. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen and ignore it, because that's usually the way to fix problems.
Yes.
Hit it with the hammer and then ignore it.
Yes.
I agree.
Lobin hasn't gone yet, but we could make that the penultimate turn, since we're basically at the end here.
Oh no, the least combatant member of the team.
I have a move I can do.
I'll just say, Lobin, a little just scared that her efforts to befriend it did not work, is just going to pull out the new cipher she found from Moon and is going to use her visual displacement device, which is basically a Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, projects holographic images of the wearer to confuse attackers.
Yes.
Images appear around the wearer. This gives the wearer an asset to speed defense actions for 10 minutes. So it's not on the belt, but I'm gonna say it's on the belt again. She whips it around, turns the dial on like the belt buckle area, and then like 6 new Lobins pop up, and they're all just kind of running around to cause confusion, going, "You're not our friend! You're not our friend! You're not our friend!" Take him down, guys.
All right, excellent. Make a speed defense roll as it tries to attack you with its pincers.
Okay.
And this will be eased, which I will note.
It's eased, and I'll...
And you can expend effort if you would like.
I'll just roll. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna use my XP. Why are we rolling? This is so bad. We're so bad. Okay. Oh.
Oh boy.
No.
Could I make a player intrusion?
Sure.
I'm just going to tell you the idea. If it's not cool to do this out of turn, that's just fine. I would like to, knowing that my life is probably not going to be turning out too well, I would like to blow this creature up with my explosive device, and hopefully the electricity will incinerate it to the point where no one else can be made sick.
Mm.
So I'm attempting to sacrifice myself, I guess you would say.
Oh,
what a hero!
How heroic, huh?
My hero.
All right, well, give me a roll. Might or speed, I think.
Let's do might. I'm gonna if I can shove this thing into the creature's jaws, even better, and that's gonna be what I'm trying to do.
Cool.
So I'm gonna spend 2 points of effort to lower it by 2 steps for 4 points.
All right.
And oh god, that takes me just down to the level where this is gonna probably kill me too. Okay, and I detonate the device. So a 19 to hit.
Yes. Excellent. So the way this plays out is this beast has grabbed hold of Lobin with its pincers and lifted her into the air and is about to let go and swallow. However, Naveed runs and jumps just in this last moment into its mouth as it's lifting, and a great blast of electricity sends guts and goo of this creature splattering throughout the city as it is obliterated from the inside by a lightning storm.
Did Naveed manage to get any last words in slow motion to Lobin?
Oh yeah.
It all blew up.
This is gonna be messy.
No.
That's my catchphrase.
Not Naveed's. That's just John's catchphrase.
It's words of wisdom I live my life by.
This is gonna be messy.
And
I'm
I think
gonna run down when I see the Lobin is, potentially hurt.
our denouement, as everyone is celebrating the victory over this great beast and the heroic sacrifice of Naveed, you're all celebrating over steak and drinks and everything underneath the changing moon as the sun sets, and the camera, so to speak, pans to a few individuals who were stuck in the webbing and who were splattered with the greenness, and they are whispering in unison to one another, "Who goes there? What is this? Infect to learn." And we'll leave it at that.
That was dope.
Naveed is cursing from his grave.
I like that. That was awesome.
I'm so helpful.
So this is a published module, right? Or did you make this one up?
No, I just made this up. It's based on a setting. The Under the Changing World is a setting in Numenera Destiny.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah, okay.
So I did an entire campaign based on the Insidious Choir. Yeah. I ran, I think it was like this, I combined 2 separate campaigns into one and then put them on an island somewhere. And it was
Awesome.
it was pretty dope. But yeah, they would electronically possess the dead. And that was kind of dope. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Good shit. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So let's go around real quick, do our introductions, get some information on these players, these amazing people here, and then we'll take a short break and jump into our third game, which is some D&D. So let's toss it over to Keith. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm Keith. You can find me on Twitch at Material Components. We're running a Friday game every week right now in a Fate Core. It's a wilderness survival horror campaign using the Fate Core horror toolkit, where we're exploring into basically the North Pole of a fantasy setting in search of some dragons that are laying eggs there, trying to figure out what that is all about. And our crew is slowly dying off, so that's exciting. I can also be found at mcomponents on Twitter. And yeah, I am in the progress. My big D&D-esque tabletop role-playing game project is that I run an after-school program along with Inglewood Armory in the chat, who was saying for me to kill everybody.
Mission accomplished.
I know, mission accomplished. I think you guys did a good job of killing yourselves.
I really did.
Too true.
I've been to the moon.
Yes.
And Keith, who is or what is the Heroes Guild?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The Heroes Guild is an after-school program that we teach kids age 6 to about 16 tabletop role-playing games. The older kids play D&D 5th edition, and the younger kids play a Powered by the Apocalypse system of our own crafting because we couldn't find anything that quite fit. So we've created a role-playing game and are hoping to kickstart it in the next year or so, called Heroes Guild RPG, that focuses on heroic morality, conflict, nonviolent conflict resolution, and good stuff for kids to cooperate around a table and be heroes together. So
That's dope.
yeah, so give us a follow at the Heroes Guild or at Material Components on Instagram, Twitter, and whatnot.
Hell yeah, man. That's super dope. Let's jump over to Katie. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
On Twitch, I am known as @MacaroniKTX. I do nothing on there right now, but I'm thinking about maybe doing Tetris 99 on there at some point, because I have a 33% win rate and I've played over 100 games. On Twitter, you can find me at Katie Peak, Peak spelled P-E-A-K, where I mostly just tweet about podcasts I like. So that's about it.
That works. With that, we'll jump over to Maddie. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hello, I'm Mad Fishmonger. You can find me on the internet as Mad Fishmonger. I am on Twitter a lot, and I sometimes do some streams doing some sewing. I have a 110-year-old treadle sewing machine, so I sew on that, and I've been doing some streams of that. I'm also on Salt and Sassy on Mondays and will be on Fridays. I am on the RPG Lab on Wednesdays, playing Numenera. So you could come and check that out if you enjoy some Numenera. And I'm trying to hack my computer is Jin. This is Jin.
Hello.
Elite Haxor.
Gosh, he's a good cat.
Sweet. With cat cuddles, let's jump over to John. John, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to, man?
Am I really more important than cat cuddles? Come on.
I don't know, but
no.
I had no other segue to get to you. So
No, I'll just go because there's nothing else to do. I'm John. You can find me on Twitter at On That Internet. I also stream D&D pretty regularly with the Dyson Heroes crew here on Twitch. I don't remember the URL off the top of my head, but we stream Saturday evenings, Tuesday evenings, Underdark, and Waterdeep adventures. If you're interested, feel free to come, give us a follow, check us out, interact on Twitter. That's it.
hell yeah. That being said, guys, we're going to take a short break. Stick around. We'll be right back for some more D&D. And then the final slot of the game I'm really excited for. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse game that has been custom created by our community's very own Petra. She's awesome, and there's an awesome cast playing that game, so definitely stick around for that. We are 2/3 of the way to our goal. We have 6 hours left to raise at least $100. Let's see if we can knock that out of the park. If you have friends that aren't here, tell them to get here. Tell them to slide on over and watch the shows and throw some money for sick kids. That being said, we'll be right back, guys. So for all of us, you guys, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.